Okay. Can you hear me, Georgia?
Yeah.
Okay. So you didn't hide properly during hide broadcast the last time this happened. When we went live, you did I think it was Pat was on. He didn't come back. So I'm going to wait and see if everyone watching can let me know if you see me and Georgia, because if not, we need to fix something. So I'm just going to wait for a sec for the comments.
Okay.
We'll put it in post. Never mind that this is a live broadcast.
So that happened last time?
Yeah, apparently I saw myself talking to Pat, and they saw me talking to a black square. So I don't know if they can see you as well or hear you as well. So
did they change something? Is there?
I don't know. Yeah, because it was the last time I did it, so I don't know if it's a change.
I don't think I'm muted either. Actually.
No, you're not muted to me at least. So yeah, so hi everyone, welcome to this. Okay, so you can't see Georgia but can hear you. Georgia, can you leave and come back?
Yeah.
Because that's the only thing that fixed it last time.
All right, hold on.
Thanks. All right, thanks Nancy for the update. Hi everyone, welcome to this week's Learning Space. I'm your host Nicole Gallucci, and my co-host Georgia Bracy will be back in a second. We seem to have messed up the hide broadcast feature somehow, or hide from broadcast when we do our intro. So she'll be back in just a minute. As you guys can see, I'm not in my usual office. I'm in the resource center again. We do have the door closed but not locked, so there might be people coming and going, although technically we are closed right now. So apologies if I have to run off. I'm sure Georgia can handle it if I need to mute myself and run off and take care of somebody who has a question. So welcome back, Georgia. I think they can all see you now and hear you now.
Where am I?
Where are you? Because I could see her, but
I exist. I don't know.
I don't know what's happening. So yay! Oh man, I could use another cup of coffee this morning. That's all I got. So hi everyone. Let us know when Georgia comes back for you guys on the video. I have a couple announcements. This is the first of my last 2 episodes of Learning Space. Oh, I know. I'm leaving SIUE. It's a Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville, in the STEM center where I work. My postdoc is overdue. Actually, it's a little over 3-year mark. My contract ends on June 30th, and my lease ends on June 30th. So I really have to be out of here.
That's the real thing, right?
I have a place to live after that. So we're going to have 2 more episodes this week, which is rescheduled from last week since I was working the door. And then next Wednesday as well, be me and Georgia again. So, and then that's it for me, at least as a regular co-host of the show. Looks like you guys can see Georgia now. Yay. So that's good. So yeah, I don't know what the future is going to bring. As I understand it, Pamela has been talking about taking over or finding another co-host for the show. Georgia, you might still be involved as a co-host as well.
Yeah, I may still hang in there. Yeah, Pamela has talked about, just kind of jumping in and taking your role. But we're not really sure yet. So we would like to keep it going, definitely. And then, of course, Nicole, we would bring you back whenever you could. Yay.
Yeah, we have to come in.
But it's still, still sort of under discussion, kind of brainstorming some things to do to keep it going. So fingers crossed, it will keep going.
I will be catching up on so those of you who are supporting us through Patreon, thank you. You rock. I will be catching up with our Patreon perks for last month, for the month of May, because that comes to us on the first of the month. So I'll be catching up with that and scheduling Hangouts, sending you guys constellations, sending some amusing video clips that we have that were never broadcast live. So we hope you guys are enjoying those perks as well. And speaking of donation perks, it is time to vote on my next science tattoo because
Ask about that. What's the update there?
Oh yeah, so we got a bunch more suggestions via the form that I put in the Weekly Space Hangout crew group on Google Plus and on all our Learning Space pages. So I've compiled, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 really cool sciencey astronomical ideas for what my next science tattoo is going to be. So I've posted the link and I'll be posting the link in the show notes, in the description, in the comments. But if you want to go right now, go to bit.ly/noisy tattoo, and you see the choices that you can choose from. No, you cannot write in a suggestion. That period was open for like a month. You missed it.
Okay.
So it's closed. You're done.
No, so tell us a few of the choices.
So we have the very large array in D configuration, which if you're aware, it's a Y-shaped array in New Mexico. That D configuration is the most compact. It's the most photogenic. It is the configuration it was in for the movie Contact.
Oh, okay.
So I think that one came in via Richard Drumm. Somewhere I have a list of who said what. For most of these. A quasar, which is pretty simple. Anything quasar related, except that was my first research topic was quasars, particularly 3C273. So if we go with quasar, it's probably the one, a VLBA map of 3C273 is probably what I'd go for. Silhouette of a radio telescope, a fingernail moon in conjunction with Venus. I like that one. My current tattoo is of a artistic rendering of a star, double star. So somebody potentially suggested adding in magnetosphere lines to that one. Or I could just do a whole new sun with a magnetosphere that's actually more accurate than the one I got when I was 18. Pillars of Creation, which is M16, right?
I can't remember what it is, but
yeah, it's in part of that famous Hubble image. Constellation of Cassiopeia, which I guess would be pretty easy because you go dot, 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 dot.
You just the brightest stars.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Dot, dot, dot. Now I'd probably get one of the pictures of her on her throne if I was going to do that. Atacama Large Millimeter Submillimeter Array, known as ALMA, because that is, of course, it's a radio telescope I've not used, and I have an interesting history with, because for a while it was like, all everybody cares about is ALMA, and then I visited it in 2013, and it's really that awesome. But I'm not a millimeter person. And the last one, Flocculent Galaxy. Because for those of you who used to watch the Virtual Star Party, whenever the Flocculent Galaxy, somebody brought up a picture of Flocculent Galaxy, I would kind of do this and go Flocculent. And so that was amusing enough that was a suggestion. Let's see. As of right now, this minute, I just hit refresh. I will share the response summary page. So we have 25 responses already. I just posted the link yesterday. So 25 people care what I'm going to put on my shoulder, or I'm going to pick one shoulder. So right now in the lead, because you guys know me so well, 36%, 9 votes are for Silhouette of a Radio Telescope. Yeah, you guys totally know me well. If that's
wow, all right. Pillars of Creation coming in second.
Pillars of Creation's coming in second. They're pretty, but I'm not an optical girl, so it's cool. And then the moon in conjunction with Venus is right after that one. And even though, I don't work, that's never something I've worked on. I do a lot of outreach with our telescopes, and that's a super pretty thing to show. So, I would happily get any of these, so I don't lose here. There were no suggestions that were completely ridiculous, except for some of the body locations that Phil Plait was suggesting, some of which were very painful or internal.
You don't get to vote on that.
Yeah, you don't get to vote on that. It's going to go on my upper left or upper right, back, probably behind my shoulder. I should stop screen sharing. Yeah, so I'll probably have it up here or up here, whichever one I decide. So I can still wear blouses and cover it up and be a respectable professor. But I can wear tank tops, and there you go.
The radio telescope is you. So
yes, the radio telescope is very me. So thank you guys for going in that direction. Of course, I'm going to take this idea, probably confer with some artist friends to get them to think up something, nice, and then work with. I'm running out of time here in Edwardsville, but there is a tattoo parlor in Staten Island that I love. And since I'll be in Staten Island for a month, I may work with one of the artists there, or I'll wait till I get to New Hampshire and things are more settled and do it then. Either way, I'll share pictures, obviously, video, whatnot, of me getting the tattoo that you all helped design. So thank you for donating and helping us reach our goal for that hour, the hackathon, and I promise you a tattoo. And so I will be following through on that promise.
Great. Yeah, absolutely. So how long do people have to vote again?
Maybe we'll leave this open for a week and we'll announce the winning design on next week's show. So next week, I figure we'll announce it on my last show, June 18th. So this will be up for a week. I've put the link on the screen for you to see as well, bit.ly link to go to the poll. So there's my little quirky corner of the internet.
Yeah.
Happening right there. Of course, science tattoos are a big deal amongst scientists. Science communicators have all kinds of amazing science tattoos. Carl Zimmer did a gallery and a photo book, I think, of a bunch of tattoos worn by scientists.
Really?
So, yeah, it's definitely kind of a big thing to wear your passion on your skin permanently.
Still sounds too painful for me. I just have to say.
Too bad. I know my brother has one up here. He's got like a track thing, running symbol. And it was like no big deal. I have one on my lower back, which wasn't painful at all, really. So I'm pretty cool with that part.
I just don't believe you. I don't know why. It has to be painful. Come on.
Some people are like, get your ankle. I'm like, no, I'm kind of a wuss. That hurts. Those places hurt. I'm not doing it. So that's why you're not allowed to choose the location on me that it went. All right, so that little fun bit's out of the way.
Cool. So we'll look forward to that next week.
Next week we'll announce the winning design. Yeah. Okay, so we wanted to talk a little bit about the International Science Fair hosted by Intel.
Which great trip a couple weeks ago.
I went a couple weeks ago for the 2015 fair. I went with one of our regional winners, Sally Najim. She's awesome high school student in Illinois. She's actually doing her research with some researchers in St. Louis. And don't ask me to explain her project because it's biochemistry. I understood it as she was explaining it, but I really don't understand it well enough to retell it. It involves iron levels in the blood of laboratory mice and tying that to different genetic factors and coming up with ways that we can, because apparently the amount of iron in your blood will determine rates of infection. So you can protect yourself better against infection by having the right amount of iron in your blood. And so it was all to a really cool study, and she blew away the judges at our regional science fair with that. And she and her mom came out to Pittsburgh with me and were super amazing and wonderful and had a really good time. Had a bit of a stressful time, of course. It's really stressful getting judged like that. But I think she's going on to great and awesome things. And you were the so the official title of the consent is adult in charge, which just cracks me up.
Right.
Like, really, you want me to be
nice to be the adult in charge sometime?
You want me to be the adult? Like, are you sure? Yeah, I've actually got a picture of my name badge that actually says adult in charge on it, so I kept it.
We have proof.
We have proof that I'm an adult. Nicole Gallucci, adult in charge. And then I got a fair director ribbon as well, since I was one of the fair directors this time around for our regional fair. And Georgia, you went a few years ago, and this was in a different location. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, it was in LA, and it was back in 2011. And it was the first time I had done that, so I got to be the adult in charge. And that's just something, so the students that participate in our regional fair here at the STEM Center have the opportunity, the winners, have the opportunity to go on to the international fair. And so we usually will send 1 to 2 people, kind of depending, and we'll pay for them to go to the international fair, which is huge. And so it's a really great opportunity. So because we're sort of sponsoring them in a way, or helping them go, we send 1 representative from the STEM Center. And so, yeah, in 2011, that was me. And I got to go out and hang out with just amazing people doing amazing projects. The level of projects, like you said, is way beyond me. I mean, which is maybe not even saying that much, but I mean, they're way, way up there. Just incredible, totally professional level work that these kids, you know, high school kids are doing. And they're working with professional scientists, so they're getting some good mentoring and experience that way too. And it's just the most impressive thing that you know, would ever see. And it just blows you away. Yeah, all of the amazing science that's going on in all different areas of science.
Right.
And it was just fun to get a chance to talk a little more with our regional winner. And his dad actually went with him, so the parent will go as well. And it was kind of fun for me because I think the same with you, Nicole. You know, we're kind of there representing the STEM Center in case something goes wrong or there's some trouble with registration or somebody loses something. I mean, we're kind of there to help, but I didn't really have to do anything at all. Everything went smoothly. In fact, by the time I got there, our student was already checked in. Everything was fine.
Wow.
Got, you know, found his place, you know, where he was going to have his presentation, and they were just, it was all ready and all done. So we hung out, we had a nice dinner, we looked around, and then, you know, they went off to get ready to actually be in the fair.
Yep.
So, but it's an amazing opportunity. So yeah, so as part of the STEM Center's regional fair, they'll send a couple people on, and it's impressive.
So this is Sally and her project board. So this was our contestant, Sally. So they made this huge, it was like those standard science fair 3 panel boards, like 2 stacked on top of each other, because you have a height.
Double, right?
Yeah, so you have a height maximum of like 16 feet, 10 feet. I don't know, it's large. I think she was just at the max height from the ground. Maybe that's like 10 feet. I don't know. I can't tell. So you can use all that space upward. And so she designed a poster board that would go up like that. And include a lot of figures. So, you know, I was there we found the registration, we found check-in together, we worked through the safety and presentation judges, which make sure everything is, you know, cool on the board. There's nothing there that's not allowed to be there. All your images have the proper citations. This is very important. So all your graphs, make sure that, you know, they're properly cited. All of that good stuff, and get her set up and ready for judging. And we practiced a little bit in the hotel room. I didn't get a chance to practice with her on the floor much because for 2 days straight, the adults aren't even allowed on the floor.
That's right. Yeah.
So you just on their own, and you're just standing outside yelling, "Is it going well? Is it going well? Is it going well?" So we practiced in the hotel room before. I think we like carefully laid. So they were close enough.
That's great. Yeah. How did you practice with her?
Well, first I asked her to give me the astronomer version because I didn't understand the basics of this. So she broke it down for me in a really great way. But most of her judges were actually more experts in the field. So she had to practice kind of both styles of speaking. Because I wasn't sure if the judges would all be in her field or not, because they definitely weren't at the regional fair.
Sure, right.
Because we kind of have a judging panel of 4 that range from like math to biology. But turns out most of her judges were experts in the field, and the feedback that she got, although she didn't win any awards, which she was a bit sad about, got really positive feedback from the judges, and they said they're really excited to see her continued work. Mm-hmm. She's actually coming back down here this summer to continue this research at the university across the river from us. So I was emailing her like, let me know if you need anything. I can help out. I'm going to be here for the rest of the month. But yeah, she's actually continuing this research. And I think that the people were really impressed with the research that she did and at her presentation, which was really great. But yeah, once you get them set up and practiced and ready to go, you got to like hands off because once the judges come through, you're not allowed in the room until Thursday. So we set up on Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday we're judging. Thursday it's open to the public.
Yes.
Which they bring in lots and lots of middle school groups to come tour the presentations and talk to the high school kids and get a sense of what this thing is like. Try and get them interested in competing once they're old enough. which is I took advantage of that time to go see some of the astronomy projects, because at least those I could understand. Like, they're really doing high level stuff. And there was a great mix. Some people were working with professional scientists. There were a couple, I don't think I have any good pictures, but there were a couple of them that were working with professional scientists, particularly with Sloan data. So Sloan Digital Sky Survey, we had an episode maybe last month, that huge open data set of the Sloan Sky Survey. So we had some students that were doing color magnitude diagrams of galaxies and stars, looking at active galaxy properties and star formation in their host galaxies. So they really knew their stuff. So it was really amazing work. The kind of stuff.
Were they there at the time so you could talk to them, or was it just the posters?
And some of them, I recognized their names when they went up for like special awards for astronomy, which was really cool because it was like a NASA award, and that went to somebody. But some of the projects, which I was particularly impressed with, were not necessarily guided by a professional astronomer using professional astronomy data. There were some that were really awesome that were completely independent. The first one I got to is these two young women from China. They used simple geometry to measure the distance to the moon and the radius of the moon. The radius they needed a lunar eclipse to do, lunar eclipse and imaging software, and to measure the radius, using geometry. And then the distance to the moon, they used shadow methods. You have a pole, you stand up a pole vertically on one place in the earth and then 10 degrees away. So like one of them like traveled to like one of the cities and then to Beijing, and then, put a pole, took measurements with the moon shadow and did all the geometry and got within pretty close, got within their distance, they got within 1%, and their radius, they got within 3.5%.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that is total. I mean, it's not new breaking research, but it's a really ingenious project. And so they totally blew me away. There was another one from Florida who used a something called Beer-Lambert's law, which has to do with opacity in like chemistry, and used it to determine the photon path length through the universe, given certain properties, about the universe. Just this really cool calculation, and then used some actually used, I think, Hipparcos data to figure out the path length of a single photon throughout the galaxy or throughout the universe. So that was really awesome. And again, totally not standard astronomical research, but something pretty cool on its own.
And they weren't working with were they working sort of independently too?
Mostly independently, I think. Yeah. I mean, I think but she was applying something completely different from what astronomers would be used to. I don't think she had an astronomer on that project. And then there was this young woman who used, I think this is using a Lego Mindstorm kit, to build a prototype space debris gripper. Let me get this picture. I did ask her if I could take her picture and share it when we were there. So she built this little like satellite prototype, and there's your typical Lego Mindstorm sensors if you're ever used to using that little robotics kit.
Yes, wow.
And it's like a little like sensor and trapper, and then she had a video simulation too of how it would like trap something and then drop it down at a lower altitude so it would eventually burn up. And here she's showing a middle school visitor how it works. So she designed this really cool system. Wow. So I was like, all right, so I'm going to tweet this, and somebody from like Virgin Galactic or SpaceX needs to pay attention and like send up your prototype. So yeah, there was a really cool range of projects. Like I said, I focused on astronomy because those I understood. As opposed to, I'd wander down the biochemistry aisle and be completely lost.
So it's interesting, and that's almost like an engineering type project. So, and I didn't even realize, when I think of science fairs, I think of conducting like a typical traditional controlled experiment, to figure out something. But here you have somebody that's sort of recreating in a way some calculations, but maybe just in a different way, or somebody's building something to, for a special purpose. And so that's a little more of design and engineering.
Yep.
And then I'm sure there were tons that were more of the traditional sort of controlled experiment, trying to prove or support a hypothesis or something like that. So
Right.
lot of variation. And so did you see any interesting setups there among so there's the sort of traditional, like you said, trifold sort of poster.
Yeah, they're pretty limited actually in what they can use and bring. Like back in the day, I brought my
there. Yeah.
my regional fair. I brought like the actual agar dish samples with the culture
really
growing from the spit
of my
family members. Like that stuff's not allowed. It was mostly poster boards, some computer screens. They really kept a tight lock on security since so many people would bring laptops to show things. If you brought your own personal laptop in, I realized too late because I already walked in with it, you have to get it checked out and the serial number recorded and all that, like every piece of electronic or anything that could possibly be a piece of a science fair project. You have to prove is yours. And they check it on the way out. So don't bother to carry your laptop in if you don't need it. That's word to future adults in charge. Don't bring in crap you don't need. Leave the laptop outside. Work on your laptop the days you're not allowed in that room because it's so not worth going through because security's so busy. But yeah, so mostly laptops. I think the demo, like the Lego Mindstorm, was one of the more intricate ones that I saw that she could actually bring the demo and show it. But for the most parts, it was displays, little models of proteins and things like that. Nothing was, exploding or anything like that. They're lazy. You want to check all the safety rules and all the display rules because they will come by with measuring tape and check and make sure you're within limits. Yeah, you don't want to be disqualified for something stupid like that.
Pretty intense.
So yeah. Yeah, and there were a bunch of seminars. I know there were actually some seminars. I didn't get to many of them, but there were seminars.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I actually forgot about that.
Some about like science or getting into college for science, STEM careers, things for the students. And then there were things for fair directors like, here's what changes we made to our safety policies. Here's some ideas on how to fundraise for your own science.
Yeah, some things on judging too, I think.
A little bit on judging. Yeah, how to
judging.
So they have a little bit for everyone who's there, who wants to get information. So they have those seminars. So even though you're not allowed in the exhibit halls for 2 days straight, there are things to do. There are seminars. Sci Curious, one of our friends on Twitter and through the Sci Communication channels, gave one on how to use social media for science communication, which sadly I didn't go to. I felt bad, but we went out later. We went out for some food later. So yeah, so there's a lot going on. And like you said, there's a focus on engineering as well. It's the International Science and Engineering Fair, and they focus on innovation, not just strictly science experiments. They have this huge display of innovators throughout the centuries. And I was pretty pleased to see that it actually had a really good mix of people from different time periods, from different cultural backgrounds, different genders, of course. So it starts with like Cleopatra and some tools she used for chemistry that she invented. And
wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, one whole side was innovators throughout history. And like I said, I thought it was very well balanced culturally and gender-wise. A lot more than most history of science things you see these days. And the other side, which I don't have a picture of, is of all the previous Intel Fair winners. And with whatever their experiments or their designs that not all of them, but a bunch of them, and what they've come up with. So it's a really nice display. I think like we were talking before, they really it's an event.
I was going to say, tell us about like the opening ceremony.
The opening ceremony had
because I remember that as just being all lights and sound and music. And
while they were seating us, there was a pogo stick stunt team.
Yeah, that tops everything, I think.
There was a freaking pogo stick stunt team. So here they are, partway through a flip. You can see 3 of them upside down. So this is they're filing hundreds of people into this gymnasium.
That's so weird. I didn't know people still did pogo sticks. I actually tried that when I was littler. I was just
this isn't just doing pogo sticks.
Wow,
like X game type stunts. It was pretty impressive. So they would entertain us.
Yes.
Well, they were trying to seat thousands and thousands of people in this auditorium. And then the opening ceremony itself was huge and flashy, and everyone had, it was like a series of really inspirational TED type talks. Interesting speakers. Let's see, they had a couple of people who, are hosting and running the fair. One woman whose name I forgot, who was in charge of, I can't find it, Wendy Atkins. She was in charge of the foundation, the Intel Foundation, and she was retiring. So she was like, this is my retirement party. I want to hang out with innovators and thinkers and people who don't say no. And it was just really inspiring. And the keynote was by the guy who invented the CAPTCHA, which
sure.
He starts off with, "I'm sorry."
Yeah.
I'm really sorry. But he went on to explain that, they improved CAPTCHA, made it less annoying, more useful by now they, scan books. And you're looking at a picture of a scanned book and a word that the computer couldn't figure out, and actually helping to digitize whole libraries that way.
I was going to say, yeah, it's got another purpose to it also. Yeah, which is really interesting. Yeah.
And Duolingo, which is a program that he helped start, which is helping thousands of people around the world learn new languages for free. It's a really cool app. I've played with it a bit. I haven't really stuck with it because I haven't, had... I wanted to brush up on my Spanish, and I did, and now I'm done, let it go. But in 2016, they will be releasing Duolingo in Klingon. So
amazing. Yeah.
Klingon.
Ready for that.
Yeah. And then, after that, they have representatives from each of the 70 nations that are participating come up. It's like the Olympics, right? Where you have a few.
Yeah, I was going to say, like a procession, with flags and
they come up with their banner that they've made, and they have a little video message.
Yes.
By the end of it, there's several hundred students on stage from 70 countries just hanging out, like standing together, waving their countries back.
Yeah, it's really moving. I mean, it's very emotional to see all that, and so it's a diverse group, lots of countries there. It's truly international.
Right.
So yeah, look, so they're all holding up
banners. They made banners.
Banners that they made. Wow.
Represented their country. Yeah.
Cool.
It was really, so it was really cool to see that. Yeah, like I said, it was a very diverse group from across the world, and seemed diverse in gender.
Yeah.
Of course, this kind of awesome opportunity isn't open to everyone, right? So I was a science fair winner back in the day because I'm a big dork. I won, my friend Danielle and I won the science fair in high school for a project measuring light pollution on different areas of Staten Island. So you can imagine how that turned out. And we won our school fair, went to regional, won the regional fair, and then that was it. Your regional fair needs to be affiliated with this larger organization to even be able to send you to something of this size, which takes money. It takes donors. It takes, fundraising. You have to pay a membership. Schools have to pay a membership fee sometimes to be part of state fairs. So it's actually not until working for the regional science fair here did I realize all the machinery behind this and what it takes to actually be able to afford to get students to a fair like this and give them such a cool opportunity. So I never got to go. Sad for me. But I was telling Sally, she was worried she didn't win anything. I'm like, I never even got to go to something like this.
Yeah.
They let me in grad school. So
wow, just huge.
You'll be fine.
So, get to talk with her a little bit about her impressions and how she felt, after having gone through everything or during the experience.
It was big. It was big. They were grateful that I've been helping them show them around. I'm like, really? I only showed up a day before you did and just walked around and barely figured it out before you guys came here. So it was she and her mom were really well prepared. They had looked at a lot of previous winners' displays to get ideas on how to do a display and how to do a presentation. So that was, they came well prepared for that, I think. The sheer size of it was overwhelming. And Sally, I think, is a little bit like me, more that, Yes, I'm actually a shy introvert. Surprise. You know, if I don't have to be on, I kind of like hiding in the corner. So I know she was a bit overwhelmed because she's more quiet like me, and it was just huge. But we got to enjoy the town a little bit. I don't know if they actually went to the science. I know there was a big thing at the science fair, and I wasn't feeling great that evening. So not science fair, science museum, science center. So they may have gone there, but I wasn't feeling too well. But they have, you know, they usually have a huge public venue like that will open up for the students to get to know each other. They do things like a pin exchange. Like you can bring pins from your country or your state or whatever and exchange it with other kids there that you meet.
Yeah.
I think these lanyards
when I went too, but
pins. It's really cool. Like I met somebody from Israel today. I met somebody from Germany. So.
Yeah. So they try to schedule some real good, you know, social events, fun events along the way during the week so that, you know, especially the people that really traveled in, you know, have some other things that they can go and do and see and experience the area. So, and this was Pittsburgh, right? So I've never been, but you went around and saw
several people tweeted me saying I had to go to Pamela's Diner, which is it's called Pamela's. There are several of them around Pittsburgh, but they apparently make the best pancakes. You have to go. And it was like this. I went to one of them that was within walking distance, and it's like this hybrid pancake crepe deliciousness full of more deliciousness. It was totally worth it. So that was my big Pittsburgh tourist moment. I went to Pamela's Diner and I got pancakes.
And I
went shopping and I got this shirt. So, you know, they're like $10. So also impressive. They have a T-Rex in the airport, which I noticed on the way back. So they do have an actual a T-Rex skeleton. I don't know how much of it's actually like reproduction of the skeleton. I don't remember, but from the Carnegie Museum of Natural History, right there in the airport when you're heading back to your terminal. So you get a little bit of science even on your way out. I hope that's always there.
It looks like the airport's closed. There's like nobody there.
No, it was probably early in the morning.
Way early in the morning.
Stupid times. And then completely unrelated, I get back to St. Louis Airport, and there's a robot exhibit happening in the St. Louis Airport. I don't know if it's still there.
Oh, I've seen that. Nothing was happening because it was way late at night. It was like 2 a.m. when we walked by.
Oh God!
After.
And I saw this one, which had it made me really happy.
Interesting.
So I came back to more. I mean, granted, it was like late at night, and I wanted nothing else than to be home and in bed, so I didn't actually look around any further. But yeah, so that's the Intel Fair. Oh, another cool thing they do is they put up this huge banner with all of the participants' names on it. Let me get this picture shared. Whee! So there's Sally pointing to her name. So every single one of them has their name on this huge banner. And so you see kids throughout the day going up to this banner and finding themselves and pointing to their name.
That's very cool. Now I don't remember that. I wonder if that's new.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Her name. I mean, it's in alphabetical order, so it's, you know, not completely.
Oh, thank goodness.
It's not completely impossible to find. Otherwise, yeah, you'd have a real problem. So yeah, it's a really well done event.
So then there's a closing ceremony also, right?
I didn't go to the award ceremony, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I went to the special award ceremony. Sally and I went Thursday night to that. But by that point, because you kind of can tell if you're in the running for a finalist award, because the last hour of judging, they're figuring out amongst the finalists who the finalists are going to be, and she didn't get a judge that last hour. She kind of figured she wasn't in the running for finalists. So they ended up leaving Thursday night after the special award ceremony because they needed to get back from work, you know, that kind of stuff. So I didn't even, I watched it on Twitter basically. But I was there for the special award ceremony. There were several hundred special awards, and you know they announced what it
more like organizations and things that just want to give an award for something related to their
and that was like 2.5
area is
of names. So it's like okay, it was great seeing the kids get really excited and go out there to get their award, but there wasn't much speaking around it. It was just here's the organization, here's what the award is for.
Yeah.
students get to come up on stage, get their award, and then the moderator made a really bad pun. Went to the next award.
Okay.
I don't blame the moderator, whoever wrote the script, with some really bad puns.
What's an award ceremony without really bad puns? I don't know. I don't think that's possible to have one. I remember from when I went, I did go to the final award ceremony, and it was just, it was huge, of course, and there's so many awards. I mean, like even at the regional, you just got so many to get through that, like you said, with the special ceremony, it was really just, here's the award and here's the person who got it, and they run up, and it was very exciting, because the teams go up and they're just a lot of emotion. And of course, then you're working your way towards the final winner overall, and so there's that, emotional tension going on too. And so, I mean, I didn't know anybody who was getting the awards, but it was just still amazing to experience the excitement.
There's a lot of confetti at the end too, right?
Yeah. It's just, it's a big party, and they want to make it that fun, like a, sporting event.
Like a sporting event or a TED event. I mean, it's...
Yeah, just a big party. It was a big deal.
At one point, I commented to Sally when we were in the poster room, I'm like, this is far fancier than any poster session at any professional conference I've ever been to. Don't get used to this. This is like a little seat for you and a table and outlets. Yeah. You don't get that.
No, right. You don't get it.
They have like a little booth that they sit in. They actually put up this chain in front of it. So like there were animals in the zoo on the public day.
Do not feed the young scientists.
It's just, yes, God, don't feed the scientists. No, I said, no, it's just to keep the middle schoolers from touching your board.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's what that's for. But it totally looked like they were in their little cages.
Yeah. It's very professionally done.
Very well done. Yeah.
Excellently done.
Don't get used to that. You will not have a table.
You might have some thumbtacks. We don't know.
You might have some thumbtacks. And your poster will probably be overlapping with the person next to it.
Right. And it'll fall down. And
it'll fall down. Curl up. You'll be printing it at FedEx the night before. Like, enjoy it now.
Yeah, but an amazing thing. So you said she is going to come back this summer.
She might already be back in town this week.
To the area and continue the research.
Continue working on that research with that advisor. Yeah, so I mean, it's possible. I won't be here next year for the science fair, but you guys might be seeing her competing again here. So say hi.
She is a junior. She was a junior.
She was a junior going into her senior year now. So yeah, she is. She gets one more shot at it. So. Yeah. She loved it. Her mother loved it. They were so thankful to have the experience. I was thankful to have the experience with them and be part of it. So
forget it. It's a big deal.
They had a bunch of Nobel Prize winners speak, give some keynote on Tuesday, which I also missed. And then apparently they went out to a bar afterwards. And I also missed that because Sai was there. I was like, why didn't you text me you were drinking with Nobel Prize winners? That could be kind of fun.
So what are Sally's future plans? I mean, I kind of assume she's going to become a scientist maybe, but...
I'm starting to look at colleges now.
Yeah, what is she?
So yeah, we'll see. I mean, she may change her mind, and that's totally cool. But the fact that she wanted to come back for a second summer and to continue the research is really promising, that she really likes it, really wants to keep doing it. And it's really weird working with lab rats because I don't work with living things, Yeah,
I would find that difficult too.
It's interesting. Very strict protocols to follow, and you're breeding them for the different genetic traits and that kind of stuff. So that was a pretty interesting aspect of it for her too.
Yeah. Did she give you any ideas how she got to where she is today, sort of thing, like her story?
No, I don't know actually how she got hooked up with that particular internship. I should have asked. I didn't.
'Cause that's always, and that's a difficult thing for a lot of people, is making the connections. How do you connect yourself with a professional scientist if you don't already have some people to help introduce you, or you don't know where to go? And that can be a really important factor in getting as far as these kids do, is making, if not actively working with somebody, if you're going to be more independent, still having some support and some mentoring and just some resources that can help you out. So
mentors are crucial at this stage.
I think so. Yeah.
I don't know. I know more from the other side of it. People do kind of find my email and email me out of the blue, like, hey, my kid wants to talk to you about being an astronomer. And I'll be like, okay, let's meet at Panera, you know, like, I mean, I've done that. I've shown up and met with parents and their kid and chatted with them and exchanged email addresses and, you know, yeah, finding someone to work with on that level. Some places do have money specifically for that. When I was at the National Radio Astronomy Observatory, I think our labs actually had like money set aside to host a high schooler. I don't remember how that high schooler was recruited though, or applied. Yeah. So there are sometimes programs in place that you can apply to, but sometimes even just emailing. So that didn't work for me when I was in high school. I tried that at my local college and it didn't really go anywhere. But you know, it's finding the right person who will sit down and chat with you, and you can just have, even if you can't do a project, just to have that chat about what's it like being a scientist.
Yeah.
Can you help me, like, you know, I'm deciding between these two colleges. What do you think I should do?
Yeah.
Sometimes even on that level is helpful.
Yeah, and I think teachers can help with that too. I think if you really don't know, start with your teacher, and if your teacher doesn't know right off the bat, you know, they can go to another teacher, maybe in their district at a different school. And then eventually, you know, you can kind of work your way up the food chain sort of. And sometimes the high school teachers might have some contacts with some faculty at universities, and just kind of keep at it. But maybe starting with your teachers, they can hopefully help you make some connection if you're really interested in going down that road.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah. But it's an amazing experience.
And this is a good reason to, I mean, again, hosting a student to do work in your lab takes money. And so making sure that money continues to go towards science education programs is really important on the local level, on the national level, on international levels. That those kind of programs start getting cut, then these opportunities don't exist.
Right. You start to lose your new scientists.
Right.
You know?
They're going to find something else flashy and fun and smart to do, and we will lose them as scientists.
Yeah.
So, Guido, look at questions. Guido asked, those rules, I think you mean like the display rules, seem awfully strict. Do you think that might scare off some participants? I definitely think the rules can be intimidating. But if you're at this point where someone's sending you to an international fair, probably not likely to get completely scared off by it. But it's intimidating to have to look at all these rules and get them all exactly right. And you're standing there waiting for the judge to give you the okay. I know I was nervous waiting for the okay from the display judge. And she just had a poster board, you know, but everything had to be the right size, had to have the right citations.
I suppose that was all on the internet somewhere with.
Yeah, they're all in a manual.
I don't know if they really send out big packages to participants anymore, if they just say, here's the website, go look at all the rules.
Yeah, for our state fair, we post a PDF on the website.
Yeah.
In fact, I'd been emailing with Sally back and forth about some of the display rules before this one and before more for the state fair. We'd been emailing back and forth, looking at the rule together and making sure we were interpreting it properly.
So I suppose if if your display is a little too big or something, you are allowed to fix it, or do you? I mean, I don't know, because with her, with her, or are they just like, too bad, that's it?
No, they'll give you a chance to fix it. I think she had to print out some explicit citations for some of the images on hers, and they have like a resource room with printers and computers.
Oh, cool.
Craft supplies, markers, poster board, all kinds of stuff, so that you can make last minute changes like that. So I think she printed up some of the explicit citations for the images, and they were in her report, but they weren't on the board. They need to be on the board, so they had to print them out, cut them out, and paste them on the board. So they have. So we had to do that, and then get a judge to come around again. They set aside like a day and a half just for that process, setting up and doing doing the display. Just the display and safety check. So that's like an entire day and a half. Like all of Sunday afternoon and all of Monday. Might be all of Sunday too. I wasn't there that early. So that is pretty big. That's.
I bet I know they really appreciated having you there with them.
I feel like it wasn't that full, but they were glad that I was there.
Yeah,
and Sally's mom was totally adorable and motherly towards me too, which I love. I was like, you just remind me of my mother. It's all good.
And to pick up an extra mom.
She's like, do you need any food? We're going out for some food. Do you want anything? Are you hungry? Like, she would text me. Yeah, no, they were great. So I'm glad she got the experience. And who knows, maybe she'll rock it again this year.
Totally watch for her again next year.
I was gonna say, in case you get roped into judging, I'm not gonna try and bias you. You should get roped. You weren't roped in this past year. You need to get roped in.
I know. I guess I kind of took a year off, but yeah.
I don't know how you managed that, because it was me and Dawn and Colin running around like chickens without heads trying to put this fair.
I think in all the chaos, I just kept my head low. And
you did. Pamela got roped in.
Focused on other things.
Pamela got roped in. Pamela, we need you to judge.
No. Yeah. Well, I remember I did a lot of judging when I was back in the classroom. So of course, teachers, there's the regional level, state level, this international level, of course, local level. Teachers do this in their school and their district, and have a science fair and get parents and volunteers to judge, and all of them then send winners onto regional. You just have to find out who's hosting it in your area and get the information and get going. But I was a volunteer judge quite a bit back when I was teaching, and it was always interesting. It was always fun. Just talking with kids is the best part.
Yeah.
It's so fun to sit there and listen to them tell you all about what they did, and they're so proud, and they're a little nervous, but all of this great science stuff is coming out of them, and it makes you feel really good.
Yeah.
So if you ever get approached to judge, you should please do, because that's, as you know, and we all know, getting volunteers for judging at every level is really hard. So
you're helping more than you know. These
please
things
do
not
that.
happen without volunteer judges.
Yeah, please volunteer to judge.
And yes, it could be I was the best of challenge judge 2 years in a row.
That's tough. Yeah.
That's deciding who goes to this Intel fair.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that until like the day of. I'm like, wow, we're making that decision. And I remember
why we didn't tell you, right?
We were that year, the first year I did it, we were back and forth. There's a lot to consider. And we decided on sending this one girl who'd done a really great, it wasn't as high level as some of the others, but it was independent. She didn't have, she had a scientist that was corresponding with her by email, but she wasn't working in a lab. She did this great, I think it was blood splatter analysis.
Interesting, yeah.
And so we sent her to Intel. I think she ended up winning a special award. So I felt like my heart grew like 18 times. I was so happy and so proud. I was like, oh my God, we did a thing for a person and helped her, do this cool thing. Even though she didn't have like laboratory resources to work with. So it's nerve-wracking deciding who goes to that fair out of the thousands, or I think we have a few hundred participants that we have in our regional fair.
Yeah.
We had this year I didn't get to see a lot of projects. I was behind the scenes, but there was this one 5th grader that rocked so hard. Now 5th grade is not eligible for Intel, obviously, because that's high school level, and not even eligible for state. I think they start taking him at 6th or 7th grade. I don't remember.
I don't remember.
5th grade, basically, you can't go any higher than the regional level for us because you have to be older for the other things. But he blew me away explaining he had improved the gain on their like satellite TV antenna.
Really?
And so of course I know antenna. I know a little bit about antennas.
Yeah.
I was like asking him questions, and he knew it.
And he really knew it.
And he was tiny and 5th grade. And he won I think the Sharon Locke, our director, gave him the director's award. She was also impressed and gave him the director's award. The award includes a Galileo scope, so he gets to build a Galileo scope. I like, bring this kid back. I'll build an itty bitty radio telescope with him. So,
Yeah, the knowledge that some of them have is.
Yeah. I mean, you could tell he'd worked with his dad with it, but like he understood it.
Yeah, right. He has to explain it to you.
Yeah,
and make you understand.
So it's a super rewarding experience. And if you are looking, if you're looking to give yourself or your student this kind of experience, sometimes you have to go out of your way to find a regional fair that is hooked up with Intel or with the state fair that you can do that with. rather than a regional fair that's a very fun but dead end. Fine. Like the one I went to.
Yeah.
Great. And I won. And I'm like, what's next? And they're like, you go home. You take your check and go home.
Yeah.
I think we had $75 to split between the two of us.
Oh, well, hey, it's all right.
It was good. It was
something. It was
an experience. Yeah. Thank you, International Dark Sky Association.
Oh,
so.
Yeah. So just something to check out, but some good opportunities out there.
And if you're in one of the towns where they do this, they do it in Pittsburgh, LA, and Phoenix. I think they rotate.
I don't know. Is there a third one?
I thought Phoenix was one of them.
Oh.
I think Elizabeth took them 1 year to Phoenix. If you're in or near one of those cities, consider going during the public day because it's open to the public. You can bring your kids and show them, like, here's some cool kids doing science, and maybe they'll get inspired too. So that's another thing to try out.
And I'm sure they need volunteers of all kinds.
Yeah, they'll probably need judges.
The big one, yeah.
Probably need judges and other kinds of volunteers.
And everything, yeah.
Yeah,
excellent. Well, yeah, we'll definitely have to look for next year.
So I'm looking forward. There's somebody. Hello.
Oh, you're not broadcasting anymore.
I am. There's Dawn and Sharon.
Hello, world. Hello, internet. That's good.
So actually, we're close to wrapping up. Just checking for any more comments and questions. Some about how painful a tattoo is, but the shoulder shouldn't be so bad. Guido wants to start a petition to keep me as the host.
Yeah.
Guido, I love you, but I don't know if that'll be possible.
Well, don't worry. We're not going to let her go quite so easily. So
I'm sure I'll be back as I could be a recurring special guest.
Don't fear. Yeah.
And but I'll be teaching Mondays through Fridays at the new college. So I have a busy teaching schedule. And
maybe we'll put sort of a new twist on it. Get your reports from the classroom. Reports from the front.
And there's an astronomy club there now, so I'm totally going to rope those students in to help me do stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, we're not finished yet.
Yeah, I won't be gone, but I should not be allowed to organize it while I'm trying to transition. I should not be allowed to organize anything while I'm trying to transition.
Focus on a few other things for a while, then we'll grab you back.
Yes. And Nancy asked when I'm heading to New Hampshire. So I'm leaving Illinois on June 30th. I will be crashing in New York for the month of July, which means, Nancy, you're in Jersey. We need to hang out. And then employee orientation is August 10th in New Hampshire. So I got to find an apartment before then. That's my schedule. So your summer show should not be in my hands because I'm traveling.
Exciting, though. Yeah. Exciting. So wonderful. People, it's so weird looking at you with this different background than your office.
I know, I don't have my books.
Whole different view.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in and watching.
Everybody.
Remember, there is 1 week left to vote. I do request one vote per person. Don't be spamming it. On the link down there, bit.ly noisy tattoo will take you to the voting form. And there's been one more response since looks like Silhouette of Radio Telescope is still winning with 34.6% of the votes, and Creation is in second with 19.2% of the votes. So I'll probably share that more widely because why not? We'll see what shakes out. But I wanted you guys to check it out since you are the Learning Space supporters, and make sure to reach the Weekly Space Hangout crew and all of that fun stuff. So, yay!
All right, so I can't wait to find out.
Yes, we'll find it. We'll announce it next week. So the deadline will be before the show start time, which is at 1 p.m. Central U.S. time, Central Daylight, Central U.S. Daylight. Will be the. Can you hear that?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the.
I know.
Those are the classrooms upstairs.
Yeah. They're doing interesting stuff up there. Involves physical fitness.
Yeah, it's a kinesiology program.
No, it is. Our kinesiology friends, yes.
Normal classrooms do not shake that much. Anyway, so we'll have one more episode next week. Next week, I'll be bringing some activities from the Life in the Universe summer camp I just did last week, with the students at the Luce Civic Center in Muscoda, Illinois. They were awesome and fantastic, and I have great pictures that their parents signed photo release forms for, so I can show you. Yeah, we'll talk about some interesting activities, most of which came from the Astronomy Ambassadors program that I did with the AAS and ASP. And yeah, so hopefully you'll get some cool ideas with activities to do with your students. And that'll be it for June. So thank you.
Great way to kind of kick off the summer.
Yay, summer.
Activities, yeah.
Summer fun. Yeah, I have another summer camp coming up at some point in the next 3 weeks. I don't know when yet. I don't know. Things are happening.
Why?
I just
advance. Come on.
I just put my kids together and go to a camp.
Yeah, I know.
If you want, Nicole,
You're just that good. You're just that good.
3 weeks left. All right. So yeah, anybody in the New York area, let's hang out in July. I will be unemployed for a month, so I'll probably be getting my lessons ready for the fall semester. But
that's true.
That's mostly what I'll be doing. But I'll be unemployed, so I'll need to get out of the house.
It'll be fun.
All right. Thank you guys so much for watching.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks again. We'll see you next week.
I'll try not to have the ceiling collapse.
Bye.